That's better. That's better. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Right quick. There we go. There we go, motherfuckers. It's go time. Zero vamping. We got to get the shit in. We got like 2 hours to get this shit in. I'm doing a Discord announcement. Nobody can stop me. We done tagged the patrons. We've let them know. Patreon League of Legends night is happening. What is up, Darkened? Shut the fuck up forever. Stormblast, hello. Chaotic Evil, hello. Helios, welcome to the stream. Snaky, thank you for coming by. It's time to stream. Boys and girls. And goofs and goblins. And any creature in between. My love, Z, undertook the heroic effort yesterday of managing my cables in every way possible and setting up my standing desk such that I could stand and stream at the same time, free up my back. So we are now standing today because we are locked in. I am exhibiting the same effort that I expect from all of you inside this dungeon today. Nizza TTV, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub, and Pika Puff, thank you as well, Nizza, for the half a year, my friend, and Pika Puff for the 17th month in a row. Welcome back to the dog home, my lovelies. Company's good, Pika. We're doing well. A-team's solid. Today is the last day to get your channel points in before the free roast stream. The free roast stream is at noon PST tomorrow. The cap is 20,000 points. We are selling tickets for 2,000 points a pop, and you can buy 10. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Boss, you know I'm about to not only carry my weight, maybe even the rest of the A-team. I believe you, bestie. Pika Puff, my code for Cool Stuff Inc. is in fact Mauled. 5% off. TCG and TCG accessories. It's also mauled at gamersups.gg for 10% off. Speaking of that, GG2901, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Mauled, what if I submit your Oops All Niv Mizzets deck? We can tear it up. That deck's peak as fuck. That deck's peak as fuck. Mauled Hound, is it true you were raised by lesbians? That is incorrect. I was raised by a hard-working, very single bisexual who still fucked. Get it right. How do I use my channel points for the free roast stream? Here's how you do it. Everybody who's interested in it. Tomorrow at noon Pacific, I will be cutting the stream on. At that point tomorrow, if you open up the channel point shop on Twitch, which is accessible via the chat window or directly beneath it, there will be no options. You will not be able to purchase a smash or pass. You will not be able to make me rant. You will not even be able to highlight a message. All you will be able to do is spend 2,000 channel points on a raffle ticket. 10 minutes into the stream, I'm going to pull a raffle ticket via random number generation. That person will get their deck roasted at that moment. The moment we finish roasting that person's deck, I will pull the next raffle ticket. We will be allowing people to purchase raffle tickets the entirety of the stream, so it will get less and less likely that you are chosen the later you come and the later you buy. You will be able to buy a maximum of 10 tickets. DMC, thank you for reminding me that as today is not a roast stream, we do not need the haunting background music. I'm going to hit a manual ad break as we put our first team together, but we got to get into this shit because I got to cut the stream off early today because I got work to do. We got business to handle. And such. Soul Storming, thank you for that Prime sub to kick off our hype train today. Second month in a row, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. I gotta watch a whole ass pre-roll before I can resub. This is some kind of scam. Some type of scam indeed. Speaking of, ad break. Mauled, you said you were putting in the effort you expect us to have, so you expect us to stand and barely move. Joe Salsa, it depends on how heavy your nuts are. This is very difficult for me because I am carrying around a pair of leaden cojones. For me to stand, it's equivalent to you doing a 500-pound deadlift every second of your wretched existence. So if you are matching my freak, then yes, I expect you to stand and barely move. If you're toting around human standard, gotta get active. Alright, what the fuck's happening this week? Supply run? Who cares? We're rich. We have a couple level zeros. We have a couple, all the level 4s are on break, so I think what we gotta bust into today is some level up missions. So what do we got for apprentice missions? Ooh! Ooh, do we have any Arbalests? We can give Titties or Mecha Zelda a very, very nice bandana. Bassarith, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to Doghouse, my friend. So if it's level 1, it's anybody under 3, right? Riffle, you can't do this? Yeah, Riffle doesn't give a fuck about that. Let's send out Titties to try to get their gear. Who's this? This is Girthy Poro. We'll send Sloth in. Backup Vestal moment. Then we'll put Cyberite in position 2. And we need one more tank, and it looks like that position is being sold to Siren for the low, low price of being the only tank available. Riffle Dupes, thank you for the 50-bit cheer. I have no idea what's happening on the other side of these ads right now, but I agree. Thank you, Riffle. Money talks, and money respects what I'm doing, therefore what I'm doing is correct. Britt, do we have you right now? Oh, Britsu is... Ooh. Ooh, hold on. Ooh. You're both very close to a level up. Who's got better... This is Warren's. Brit, I believe you. Noonies, thank you for gifting a tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to Dog Heaven, my friend. Let's bust out. This is medium. I'm going to buy a lot of torches. I ain't fucking with that. I'm going to buy a lot of food. I'm not fucking with this. Multiple shovels. We don't have an antiquarian, which blows. I'm going to hit a prediction. We're going to lock in. We also had a drink water redeem. Thank you, Dark. Hey boss, any thoughts on River Song as a commander? I'm brewing her to mess with Clash and things that let you put stuff on the bottom in any order like Charbelcher. I'm thinking of Kiki Jiki and or Mindslaver as potential wins for the deck. Jomi, my concern is you've described a 10 pence engine to power a $500 win. The ways River Song is going to win at Magic the Gathering is typically some type of infinite or on-the-spot win, and I doubt that your escalation curve of I do Clash bullshit can keep pace with how you intend to finish the game. Grave Robber, thank you for the Twitch follow. The Twitch Prime, by the way. Welcome to the Dog Home for the 4th month in a row, and Dead Sniper, welcome back to the Dog Home for the 2nd month in a row. Thank you both very kindly. Snakey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. Which way are we going? This, uh-oh. I did not realize this was a boss mission, but we should be fine. Do you have any... Okay, we got a Tome of Healing on our Vestal. We got a Camouflage Cloak. This should be fine. Noonies, thank you for the 100-bit cheer, my friend. I appreciate that contribution to the dog pile. Empty rooms. We're illiterate. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Not a single whammy to be seen. That's what I like to see out of my employees. Still empty. If my flesh was Inchoate, I would be up in the corner. I would be up in the corner, hidden behind a fucked up dinner card, hidden behind this Stop and Shop McDonald's. It's my first attempt at Is It. I mostly wanted to play the deck from both top and bottom to be kind of silly while still digging for a spooky win con. I mean, I think it's like... The main problem is River Song is not an engine commander. We can talk more about that at a different time, but being able to draw from the bottom of your deck is an outlet. It is not a core engine. It cannot be the core gameplay loop of your deck cannot be I'm going to activate River Song's text box, because what River Song's text box does very, very well goes infinite. Takes a couple cards and turns them into game-winning phenomena. You can still make a deck that does that, but you need to design a core value loop that's going to be separate from that. Because otherwise it's just going to be like, okay, River Song pays off with bullshit, with dog shit, with bird feces, and then I mind control you forever and you die. One of these things does not fit in. You can still make a fun River Song deck. I would just highly recommend that you get something else to do as the build-up rather than River Song triggers 800 times. What's up, Bander? How you doing? Sloth. Judge that guy. Thank you, Sloth. That's what I fucking like to see. That's the shit I love. Skip your turn, dumbass. It's all love here, and I would love it if you sat the fuck down. You finished your exam 2 days ago. Congratulations. What exams are these? Jomi, that sounds good to me. Again, like River Song, totally reasonable. River Song is a spooky deck, totally reasonable. I just think it's important to understand that River Song is an aqueduct and not a ramp. River Song is not something that builds up your engine. River Song is something that pays off an already built engine. Oh, I'll turn custom cards on in just a moment, yeah. Honey Eater says, I have an Enixthia deck that sucks. Should I break it? It has sentimental value, but I feel like Sithis Enchantress is easier to pilot. Honey Eater, I would recommend, if you have an Enixthia deck that's not working, it's pretty easy to make a fucked up Enixthia deck. What you probably need to improve upon is how willing you are to defraud the government with respect to mana values. What Enixthia does very well is takes 9 mana things that you should not have access to by will of God and gives you access to them on turn 4, turn 5 as soon as your commander has hit the field. And so I would, if it's not working, you should probably look at how good am I at putting stuff in my graveyard. If I'm not good at it, I've made a deep mistake. If I am good at it, what am I putting in my graveyard? If it's not very powerful things, well, I'll be goddamned if I was not correct, like I always am. I will be goddamned if my fake MBA from the University of Hawaii is not paying off right here with this project management. Let's proceed straight to the boss.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
Yeah, let's get this light straight radiant, by the way. Eat some food, put some biscuit in that injury. It's time. Crimson, yes, this is my first playthrough of Darkest Dungeon. I think this is like the 8th stream that we've done. What the fuck is happening?
This horror must be unmade.
Shades, I wish you the best of luck recovering from that wrist surgery, and I will refrain from making any inappropriate jokes about you gooning inappropriately. I've turned Rant, and I have turned Custom Card Reveal back on. So draw out the ass and send thick baddies to Erebos to break them out. Close Honey Eater. Rather than draw, you want to be on Golgari Self-Mill. Look up Mesmeric Orb and mesmer that shit. Dark, the fact that it would be inappropriate gooning is why it's an inappropriate use of the term. Bander, yes, free roast day is tomorrow. These have... Okay. So these things look like they heal. So I think I have to fuck up these things first. Double Blight should work pretty nice. This is only 40%, so I think I can just keep chucking it. I'm gonna fuck you up first. I feel like each thing probably has 25 life. That would make like the most mathematical sense to me. I'm wrong as fuck. Bitch, who? I'm unhappy. No, Zenorum. The Ko-Fi roasts go live on Sunday. So this is Prot 70. So hitting this one's bullshit. I guess I Iron Swan the one in the back because it's only Prot 30. Hell yeah, Brit. Good crit. Very solid crit. My team's kind of getting fucked up. Keep hitting whoever has the least. Jesus, their Prot's also fucking good. Who am I? Alright, so it looks like they're rotating through. They're either kind of bad across, like they have medium defenses across the board. We got this guy who's incredibly susceptible to blight. We got, and then more medium defenses. So I'm gonna heal everybody. Since you're susceptible to blight, we're gonna keep blighting you up. Hell yeah, Noonies, I appreciate that. Thank you. White Bread, thank you for that custom card redeem. We will do it after we conquer the Inchoate flesh. Stop changing. Motherfucker. Brit, why are you stunned? I'm sorry, Brit. If I check my watch here, it does not appear to be fuck up o'clock. So why are you out here fucking up on company time? I swear to God. Titties, handle it. Who's got low prot? Titties, handle some shit right now. Thank you for the 3 damage. Riffle Dupes, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Need a smash or pass on the flesh real quick. Hard pass, no matter how long the tongue is. You can't trick me. You can't trick me. So we have a lot of blight damage stacked up. I think I just need to keep the team off Death's Door, honestly. Just have Sloth keep everybody off of lethal. And eventually Cyberite's blight will handle it. Jesus fuck, Britt. What are you doing? Okay, we're on no... Oh, these are very killable. Oh, but they can heal. That's why. Okay. So we have obscenely killable ones that are just good at... Stop stroking the flesh, bro. That is upsetting. No blight resist. Alright. Cyberite's kind of clutching the fight right now. Pick everybody back up. God damn, Britt. What is...
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
So this is no... So these are incredibly vulnerable. I'm just gonna shoot them straight in the fucking head.
This is no place for the weak or foolhardy.
No, I'm not even surprised. Just to know for later, when I submit a custom for review, how should I send it to you? No legs, what you're gonna do, you're gonna type on your little keyboard, ! Discord. That'll get you a free invite link to the free Discord. Go to the Dear Maldhound section, and if you get into the Dear Maldhound section, you just post the card in there with a note about what it's for. Cyberite, go ahead and show them how it's done. Thank you, Cyberite. Rake a bitch. God damn it, Cyberite. Titties, please bring it home. That's what I'm fucking talking about.
In death, as it was in life. Seize this momentum. Push on
Do
to
I
the
have-
task's end.
Okay. We got 2 treasure rooms. I kind of feel like if I got a camp off, we could make the treasure fights work.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
Feast for sure. We got 1,000,000 bits of food. De-stress. Yeah, I think damage buffs are gonna be pretty goddamn important. Let's heal you. Let's heal you some more. Then we have 5 left. And then let's give some prot. I think we can make that work. We might get ambushed. Definitely not Flare. Thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. No, Wormot, the raffle is tomorrow.
In radiance, may we find
What's up, Shade? We're doing pretty good. We've also got a custom card review from Ascendance. Hey, that is the lovely, lovely surprise round that I like to see. God fucking damn it. Alright. Sloth got to be in the back. Hey, Flair, don't worry about it. Thank you for coming through when you did. Rake these boys up, Cyberite. Thank you.
a brilliant confluence of
God fucking damn it. Sure. Sauce God, I'm not sure if you're alive. It's also been like a week since we were able to do a Darkest Dungeon stream. We've been doing a lot of back-to-backing deck roasting streams recently. This is now basically, it's all on Cyberite. It's all on Cyberite to handle this battle, and then we're probably leaving. Because I did not appreciate that Titties and Sloth were not built for this tripod shit. Titties and Sloth were built for a foursome and no less.
a faint hope blossoms.
But I trust Cyberite, and I trust that Light Sloth can just be heal bot in the back, and that'll be enough. Fuck. Hey, there we go. Hey, thank you, Titties.
The way is lit.
Thank you, Titties, for that rallying flare, so that Cyberite can see a little better. Pika Puff, Brit went out unceremoniously. I'll give you that. They, in a previous life, Brit went out as a hero on the A team. In this life, Brit kind of tripped over some bones and then died. Just gonna keep you healthy in case you get crit or something. Yeah, if only I had learned any of these other abilities. That's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. Rally these fools. Oh, not the Black Plague, dude. Oh my god, okay. Whatever, Cyberite has it. Cyberite has it, it's fine. Let them know what's coming, Titties. Let them know what's coming. Judge this man, thank you. Oh my god. Will you just die, please? Alec man, thank you for the 2 tier 1 gifted subs, my friend. Welcome to Dog Heaven. Alright, we take those. What can we get rid of? I mean, fuck this food. We are leaving.
Wealth beyond measure.
Yeah, get me the fuck out of here. We at least have the dope Arbalest bandana. Please do not have picked up any bad. Thank you.
I see something long absent in the sunken faces of passers-by. A glimmer.
Alright, so I'm gonna give... Titties, ugh, you're stressed out and you have the plague. You gotta pick a struggle. Alright, so you gotta heal that shit. Cyberite legitimately could go back out. Moose and Troper definitely need to meditate. Vizier, I think, could go out, but we probably can't send Vizier out without their tank. Oh yeah, let's pay that prediction out. Do we have any crazy items in here? Bounty hunter, but we don't have any bounty hunters. Okay. Fuck off, DLC. We're bringing in a new party member. I can guarantee you right now, we are taking either the Leper or the Man-at-Arms because we lost Brit 2. We have to bring a tank in. Has to be a tank. Boss Shot in the Dark, have you read Red Rising? I have not. What's up, Baron Von Boot? I'm your reliable tank in League, right? One of those words. Alec Man, you might be able to come back, but you cannot come back as any of those options because we are currently recruiting exclusively a tank. Bison Steve, I'm not sure if you have been, so we will let you redeem your financially guaranteed spot as our Man-at-Arms, because I think it was a moment since you either subbed or cheered for Man-at-Arms. We do not need the 8th D-Man Leper to fall over and die. Thank you very kindly. But we got a multitude of custom card redeems to look at. My game monitor is on the wrong screen. Hold on. So let's pull these sons of bitches up. First, we got Whitebread's Stream Redeem, which is Evocation Mastery, a 6 mana sorcery master caster. If you've cast 2 or more other spells this turn, creatures you control gain protection from red until the end of turn. Evocation Mastery deals 10 damage to each creature. Destroy all artifacts you don't control. I quite like this. I think this is both on mana rate and reasonable in the colors to give Izzet a one-sided board wipe, which is something that has felt kind of bad about Izzet decks in the past. I think it feels blue enough. It feels mostly red, but it does feel like it's got a little bit of blue in it. Blue doesn't offer protection. It should have them phase. I will interrogate that, but I do kind of agree. Personal question. Have you read any good books lately? I know you're a fan of Sanderson from the shorts, but if you have any other recommendations. I just recently finished reading the entire Dresden Files series. I would highly recommend that. Very good. So DMC, I am very partial to what you're saying about how blue doesn't give protection, and specifically blue can't give protection from any one color, let alone protection from red. However, I am going to recommend you read. Blue creatures can have it, but it doesn't give it. Okay. I think we're getting there by parts. We're getting there by parts. We have more precedent for blue providing protection, not from an entire color. Not from an entire color. We have gaining protection from red, but that's again on a creature. This is blue and white. Okay. I am generally inclined to agree that blue is not in the nature of giving out protection from certain colors. But this is a time of growth and change in Magic the Gathering. And I would argue blue deserves it. Fuck these other players. Blue deserves it. Blue phases and bounces. Consider if it phased and or bounced, I could not swing out after board wiping you. I rest my case. I do agree most with what Titties said, that if we wanted to make this accurate, we could do a great heaping helping of targets. Rather than hit everything, we hit like 10 to 10. Something crazy that also mostly functions as a one-sided board wipe. No Pirate Alley. Protection prevents damage. And so protection does also prevent targeting. So the each gets around the targeting thing from the protection. However, because it's damage, Prot Red would also deal with this. But I do think you could also handle it by just doing like, if you've cast 2 or more other spells this turn, creatures you control gain hexproof. Or Evocation Mastery deals 10 to a great number of targets and then you Vandal Blast. However, I do not think it's a very big reach from we have multiple precedents of blue creatures having protection from red to a blue spell giving protection from red. I don't think that's a crazy jump. Then we have Stormblast Stream Redeem, which is point and laugh. 4 mana, is it 1/3. Legendary Goon, indestructible, and creatures have, whenever this creature is dealt damage, it deals damage equal to its power to a random player that doesn't control a creature named Point and Laugh. Okay. For 1 and a black, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, then draw a card, lose a life. Activate this ability only once each turn. You probably... I'm going to assume this is mostly a joke. First of all, it's a good joke, but even as a joke, I think you got to put that on your turn, because otherwise this is draw a card, draw 4 cards, a orbit, if I have the mana, although that is pretty mana intensive. But being able to grow... Being able to grow an indestructible creature while drawing cards, that's pretty good. So I would either do, for 2 mana, you can activate this only as a sorcery and only once on your turn. Or for 3 mana, you could probably do it once each turn on anybody's turn at either 3 mana or 4 mana. That's probably expensive enough to make the rate okay. Or you can just make it as a sorcery, and then it's like every turn I pay 2 mana to draw a card, make my guy bigger. I like this, though. It's funny. Didn't you yourself say for 8 mana and 3 cards, any color combination is allowed to get away with anything? Correct, and we're currently talking about 1 card. Fuck are we talking about? Yeah, four is probably too expensive to be good. No, it should be indestructible. I am notably ungodly one. I am the chief goon, and I cannot be destructed. Also on YouTube, King Kettle, thank you for the $10 super chat. Welcome to Dog Heaven. Maul, do you think I made a mistake by teaching my friend Magic by having them learn the games through my Gruul Landfall deck, and now they've built their first AC deck? You have made an irreparable error. This person's brain is going to be forever warped by only experiencing the most spoon-fed, brain-dead, heinous crimes this game is capable of committing. Do you know those people? Do you know those health freaks who are like, when I have a kid, I'm not going to feed them any sugary stuff. I'm going to trick them into believing that watermelon is the sweetest thing on the planet because that's going to prevent them from having bad eating habits. You know those people? You're the opposite of those people. You took that baby, that sweet child, out of the birth canal, and you force-fed them Frosted Flakes. And now the entire rest of their life, it is ruined because of what you've done. Nothing in their life, not marriage, not the birth of their child, not the death of their mother-in-law, none of it will stand up to the sweet, sweet goodness of playing your first Magic game with a good Gruul Landfall deck, and I shame you, King Kettle. And also, because I know you're one of our outstanding reschedules, are you free Sunday to get your roast done? Because I realize I've been lacking on that, and I deeply apologize. So let me know in chat about that, and please repent. All right, next we got Abhorrent Ascendance's stream redeem. Atom Smasher, Bleak Legends, 7 mana, 8/8. Ward, sacrifice a non-land, non-token. Collateral damage. Whenever they deal combat damage to a player, destroy a permanent they control. Okay. Breaks off. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Atom Smasher. I am inclined to let this cook only because of the incredible mana cost, and the ward is basically ineffectual. For paying this much in Rakdos, we kind of got to let you do whatever. It grows pretty quickly, but you should be so late in the game that a big scary threat that self-propagates. Like we are at 7 mana, we are well past black mold levels. So I fuck with this. I like this Ascendance. Yeah, if I let them do that shit to me, I had it come in the card. Now what I do like, great reanimation target. My first thought was like, I would probably never play this as a commander, but in a Jund deck, I would absolutely skip my first land drop to discard this man and reanimate him on the next turn, which is exactly the type of fucked up business we accept here. Also, Yadagarasu, Wind of the May roast commissions go up on Ko-Fi. Those are going to go up on Ko-Fi Sunday the 4th, noon Pacific. We are also going to be starting a stream at that time, the free roast stream tomorrow noon Pacific. 20,000 Twitch channel points to cap your raffle tickets. Don't forget it. Next we got Fluffle. So Ascendance, thumbs up from me. Fucked up, love it. Yadagarasu, thank you for the 100-bit cheer, my friend. I appreciate that contribution to the dog pile. Next we've got Fluffle Snuffleupagus, a fucking Lancer reference in my Twitch stream. I think. Oh no, this is a Deadlock reference. Much better, much better. So we've got 7 Apotheosis Aspirant, 4 mana Grixis 3/3 with haste. Whenever they attack or die, exile the top card of your library. You may play it until the end of your next turn. For 3 mana and sacking them, spells you cast this turn from anywhere other than your hand have Storm. So, okay. Let's do a quick math check. Quick math check on how soon that goes infinite. If it does. So if we have 7 and we have an extra turn spell, we sack him for 3 mana, and then we have to have... We basically have to have, like, Time Warp or something in exile. Like, we have to have a 5 mana extra turn spell or something. And then we have to give it Storm. Probably the easiest way to do that is that this becomes a, like... You would make this... You don't have access to Maria. You don't have access to Maria, so you would have to do it from... You would have to do some, like, Mystic Forge... Mystic Forge Artifact Storm. This wouldn't even let you combo it because you then have to... Or you could tap it. No, exiling it doesn't let you cast it from exile. So you would have to do this whole artifact... You would have to do this whole artifact combo thing, then attack with 7, then sacrifice him, and then do the extra turn storm thing, which that is like... That is diabolically mid. Yeah, titties, you do probably just end up like... No, tutor storming wouldn't even... Yeah, it's probably like storm off of... You probably end up with like another Bolus's Citadel combo, which who gives a fuck about that? Like, I'm trying to... Like, what I want to interrogate is if somebody was in good faith building this with the commander brainworm of, I just want to play with my Grixis King, how fucked up would this get? And this feels very assistant manager of the Office Depot. Like, Bolus's Citadel and Past in Flames can make some dumb shit happen, but I feel like the setup has to be pretty strong. Does the fact that this can be done on an opponent's turn change the evaluation? I don't think it does. Aminatu's Augury makes this go insane. I mean, it does make it go insane, but it's also like... Fucking this makes Aminatu's Augury is an insane fucking card. And we have... Where's the Temur? Where's that? I don't think it's instant, so I don't think Calamax makes it go insane. I think the problem is that this makes 900 other random good cards snap the game in half. Can you give me an example? If you cantrip a couple times, Vampiric Tutor for your extra turn spell, win, right? You are very lucky I don't have an extremely loud incorrect buzzer set up on the stream yet, because I don't think that's true. I think that's true if you have... If your board is... I resolved my commander, I resolved Stormkiln Artist, and then I began cantripping with Vampiric Tutor in hand. Then, yeah, you can probably storm a big storm count and extra turn spell, and that feels so deep in Magical Christmas Land that, like, we might as well just paint a beard on the art. Honestly, just end of last player's turn, commune with lava, then storm turn. That again, like, you're saying the words then storm turn. Like, good storm turns don't require a lot of incredibly transparent setup. Like, I think yes, and every other storm commander also fucks that up crazy style. Like, if you told me, oh, this person got Storm Kiln Artist and they cast Commune with Lava for 10 mana and now they're gonna win, which is bullshit, you could tell me that was a Veyron deck and I'd believe you, rather than this custom ability. I'm definitely questioning the practice of giving things Storm in general. The practice of giving stuff Storm, incredibly risky, would never recommend you do it. But I think most people are going like, oh yeah, it's simple to break this card. We just steal the Declaration of Independence. You are not Nicolas Cage, motherfucker. Choo Choo Bean, I know you did not just put in a 6-step combo to prove the commander's busted. I agree with what Giant Dwarf is saying. Like, giving Storm to an arbitrary number rather than a limited number is almost certainly going to be problematic. Like, I think any number of spells I cast have Storm. Like, there's probably a number of setups where, okay, Storm Kiln is on the field. I cast anything, and then I sacrifice 7, and I cast Ren's Resolve. And then everything I do after that is my deck is just like Ren's Resolve and Ren's Resolve accessories. And then the like self-fulfilling Storm turn just kind of unravels. So it would definitely be better if it was like limited in some way rather than just everything from this zone gets stormed. Alright, next we have Elikman's Gian, Voice of the Skywise, 0/4 Ojutai student. As long as you control a dragon, John has hexproof, and dragons you control have mentor. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on a dragon. If this was the second time this ability has resolved this turn, draw a card. Terminally fair. Very normal. Somebody will come up with a combo for this in 8 years, and they will make 10 YouTube shorts about it. Walk with God, Elikman. Very fair card. I do remember the other Ojutai themes, so I fuck with this. I like this. Seal of approval. Also, GD Giant Dwarf, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Looking at 7, I'd like to mention the card Eye of the Storm. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is one of those like 10 mana I make us all concede because nobody wants to figure out the stack. Alright, next Zori has got us with another pair of partners. Demas and Reynald. Orzhov Rogue. First strike ward. Pay life equal to power. Creature with power greater than Demas's cannot block. I believe that is... Oh, cannot block at all. Okay. Four mana, 4/4 with vigilance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to give out a keyword, sacrifice them. Other creatures you control get indestructible. In Mardu, I think that is a pretty fair pairing. Decent effect at 4 mana. I think this is like actually really, really solid, but I don't think it's busted. This is good, this is good workhorse stuff. This ability is kind of weird. I do... If there's a way to give them minus power, it's kind of funky because this is universal. So because it's not asymmetrical, I kind of like it more. Like if you do this commander and then you do something to make Demus's power 0, it's just Bedlam, which is fucking hilarious. I like that. I'm a big fan of that. So, King Kettle on YouTube, are you saying you could come by Sunday at 2 p.m.? Because I can work around that. How much are you willing to bet that's an oversight? Legitimately any amount, and that's fine. Lemon Splot, this is Joe Cherry, the Joe Cherries from the Joe Cherries YouTube channel and the soon-to-be Joe Cherry's Malltown Veggie Wagon podcast YouTube channel. I'm willing to let you cook with this. Rona Serena, thank you for the redeem. The Headstone, 3-mana legendary artifact. When an opponent would lose the game, if you have 2 or more opponents and no player has been noted for the Headstone, note that player, otherwise sacrifice Headstone. At the beginning of the noted player's upkeep, they gain 2 life. The noted player cannot lose the game. You have protection from the noted player. I'm not unfamiliar with the political negotiations endemic to a Commander game. I'm not unfamiliar with you make some deals. You might even make some bad deals. I am at least minorly opposed to your strategy of political negotiation being, what if I gave you all my money? What if I gave you all my money and also a kidney and also let you eat your dinner off of my back while I tabletopped for you? So what this reads to me is, if my opponent would die, they don't die. They are now immune to losing the game, but I have protection from them. I'll tell you what. If you... The place where I think this breaks down is as soon as the noted player has any type of on the stack win. Like, this seems a lot to me like the... I think the protection from the noted player thing has to be... I feel like it is interesting theoretically, and then you play with it, and then it sucks. Because usually... Time Kid, I thought about noted player can't win the game, but it's also like usually the first person to die is dying because the table's like, oh, they have to die or they're going to win. And so this kind of just seems like we hand one player the win. If you're playing into a pod where it's like very cutthroat and somebody has like a bad first 2 turns, and so they get killed by a Voltron player, and this can politically protect them, it's a fine Kevlar vest. But it really just seems a lot like, oh, we need to kill Steve because Steve is about to win with Thoracle. And then Headstone keeps Steve alive, and then Steve wins with Thoracle. I agree with what Tiamat's saying. I'm thinking this lets someone little bean themselves into you pitying them, and then they resolve Necropotence. I do think it should say noted player. The more I think about it, the more I agree with noted player can't win the game. Because otherwise this just becomes like, I incidentally protect somebody else's combo win, which is terminally boring. Like, that is awful. I think if you could somehow limit this to Battlecruiser Commander, then it becomes a more interesting political piece, because then like everybody's trying to kill people with combat damage, and then you get some interesting, like, not Prisoner's Dilemma, but interesting decision trees. But I think the better your games get, the less effective and less interesting this card gets, because it just becomes, I accidentally allow you to combo off in our face. What if it just had a self-sack outlet on it? No, because then it's meaningless. If at any moment I could just sacrifice this, then this card is just you monologuing. Then it's no longer a political piece. It's you being like, hey, would you like to be my little doggy for the next 10 minutes? Would you like to bark when I tell you to? You holding someone else's life in your hand, that is an uninteresting way to play Commander, I promise you. I promise you, on a personal level, you may think that's interesting. It is not. It's literally like state-based action you are no longer allowed to cook can be a funny sentence and is a terrible gameplay experience, and I would heavily advise against it. We're going to move on to a Nubian's Redeem before we get back into the dungeon. Two-sided card. We have Salim, the Fractured Host, a 4-mana, 4/4 with rest. If you have 5 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, you go into the Dreamscape for the rest. Oh. Okay. Okay, show me a version of Day Night. Whenever Salim attacks alone, make a shard token. If there are 5 or more, if you control 5 or more enchantments and are in the Dreamscape, transform Salim. 7/6 Flying Trample Vigilance. Whenever you sack an enchantment, gain 2, deal 2 to each opponent, make a shard. This feels conflicted. I feel like I'm being served collard greens on top of waffles right now. I'm partial to what if we could get City's Blessing but for Spellslinger players. I'm partial to what if Jeskai could get some type of Enchantress Aristocrats thing going on. What I'm less partial to is we got to do a lot to turn this on. We either got to do some self-mill, or we got to be cantripping pretty heavy. We got to attack alone a lot, or play a lot of like enchantment creatures. And we flip this, and instantly the best thing we can do with it is Voltron, which is the third direction we're getting pulled in. Like, we have the enchantment aristocrat setup. Outside of some type of infinite loop, I guarantee anything you can do with the gain 2, deal 2 is immediately overshadowed by, yeah, well, what if I gave them a sword? What if I gave them a pointy stick? I feel like it's just a value engine, the command zone thing. I mean, the thing is, it's a very bad value engine then. Like, it's attack alone, get a slightly better clue. Not even better, because clues are artifacts, which is very meaningful. So it's a pretty bad value engine that wants to set up for a payoff, and then the payoff is pretty irrelevant to the way it wants to generate value. Yeah, I do think this is a situation where you probably want to just stick to the enchantment focus, and then there's some other custom card that can utilize rest better. Because then you can do like, okay, Enchantress Voltron, but there's so little that shards are doing in the first place. You might even be able to extend this. You might even be able to extend this to whenever you put an enchantment into the graveyard, because then you could do stuff with like rolls, and then the pseudo Voltron makes a little bit more sense, because then it makes more, it starts to make sense to go like, I'm gonna flip them, I'm gonna put auras on them, I'm gonna put rolls on them. If those fall off, I'll get inadvertent damage. So graveyard from anywhere, I think, makes more sense than sacrifice, because sacrifice locks you totally into shards and sagas, both of which are terminally bad. Calmore Dare, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Marty the Goose hit me with that rant redeem, and we're going to service Helios' Warframe addiction before we get into a manual ad break and we get back into mining the dungeons. Temple, 1 frame band. 3 mana Rakdos, 2/2. Show me a fucked up text box. On ETB, make Lizzie a legendary black and red equipment. With equipped creature gets +1/+1, menace, haste. Attach it to Temple. Whenever one or more modified creatures you control attack an opponent, Temple deals that much damage to defending player. Honestly, I think you could soup this shit up. I think you could really soup this shit up. So this is effectively it's a 3 mana 3/3 with menace and haste, and has within range but worse. It's this card but scaled down to just modified creatures. So you could either we don't just want to give it within range text, because then it's boring. But I do think it's a little too, with love, Helios, I think it's probably a little too weak. You could maybe do Voltron with this. I'm not sure how easy it'd be. No, it is not X total power smoking. Notably, the way this is worded, if I hit somebody with one equipped creature, no matter how much power the equipped creature has, I deal 1 damage. If I attack John with a modified creature, I deal 1 damage to John. If I attack John with 3 creatures that are all modified, I deal 3 damage to John. You know what would make me believe? No, notably, within range is still scaled to however many creatures are attacking them. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of creatures attacking them is worded differently than this card because Helios has not been to templating school. But if you attack one person with 5 with within range or with this, it's 5 each time. You know what would make me believe in this? If you were Jund. As much as I hate it, if you were in, or Mardu even, if you were in something that was better at putting +1/+1 counters on creatures, I would believe in the modified creature Zerg Rush strategy. But if you don't add a color, I don't really believe in Rakdos' ability to do this. Oh, thank you, Garrett. Also, somebody asked about my watch. This watch is from Holtz Kern. We did an ad deal with them quite a while back, and yeah, it's nice. I like it. This is the first time I've worn it for stream, but they're good. Taryn, shades are on because it's all love now. Troper, thank you for the meme redeem. Bleed rolls a red, mauld's a gambler. By pondering this orb, we summon the shambler. 6 out of 10. Acceptable. No big exhale through the nose. We're hitting a manual ad break. We're getting back into the dungeons. I'll see you all in a moment. YouTube chat, I appreciate your patience. I do really gotta piss. All right, folks, we're back at it. Ad break's almost over. Terrence, hit me with that personal question, my friend. Oh, posted here again, Marty. Is trying to build the Boros Walls commander deck a worthy endeavor or something that will only end in a lost sense of self-worth? Definitely not a worthwhile endeavor. Boros Walls is very bad. If you have one... So here's the thing. I will attempt to keep this concise. A problem that every nascent deck builder falls into is they find one or two or maybe even three cards of a specific creature type, permanent type, card type they really love. And they want to make those the hero of a deck. And when they think about how do I make those the hero of a deck, the first thing they go to is, well, what if I made my deck all insert card type? That is always wrong. There are some times where it will work anyway if your creature type is bog easy to put together like elves, or if your colors are very good at supporting the thing you're trying to do like Abzan or Bant Walls. However, I, on basis, will always discourage you from going insert color, insert card type, now this is a deck. 95% of the time, flat mistake, don't do it. Are there any commanders that you think will always be bracket 4 if the deck built around them is functional? Personally, I have some that I think will always be bracket 3 so long as the deck is cohesive, but I've heard arguments for some being 4 just by merit of play pattern. I don't think so. I've used the term warrior mentality for this in the past when I think your deck is just like the commander just makes the deck good if the deck is cohesive. I do think that floor stops at bracket 3. And if you think that it is always 4, you are likely conflating cohesive with optimal. There are some commanders where if you build them optimally, they will very easily get to 4. There's a ton of commanders where you can cohesively build them as a 3 if you just elect to leave out the super easy infinites, which is again the difference between people being like, oh, this is a cohesive deck versus, oh, this is a optimal deck. I think specifically Urza is an exception, even built mediocre. I think that's untrue. I think that is a reflection of the types of people who play Urza rather than the commander itself. I think you could very easily build a Urza deck that was appropriate in bracket 3 and have it be cohesive, but like no Urza player wants to do that because anybody who picks up Urza does it because they have a hole in their heart. Also, Omnitom, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse. So I think the floor of like this commander's automatically good stops at 3. My example personally is Jetmir. A cohesive and well-functioning Jetmir deck is like always a solid 3, but I've had arguments that Jetmir is close to 4 just because Craterhoof is in the command zone. Lord, I know some people are struggling, and Lord, I hope you help them, and Lord, I hope most of all you keep them far the fuck away from me. No. Jetmir being a 4 just by virtue of being a win outlet in the command zone is a ridiculous proposition. And as a hater who loves to play low power, that is a ridiculous butthurt argument. Don't make it. Let's get to some level ups. Someone told me Stax is not chill in bracket 4. I'd assumed 4 was everything goes. What do you think? Bracket 4 is the literal best place for Stax. That is like where... That is the fucking money zone. That is the Stax zone. That is where you have to have a cop. Stax becomes more acceptable and better the fewer breaks you're putting on the game in Rule 0, and Bracket 4 is where you have no breaks on the game. If you're playing a Bracket 4 deck and you're like, this isn't, like, we shouldn't have Stax in this, you are just a fucking butthurt whiner who wants to be allowed to combo off. Literally ridiculous. Like, fully... Anybody who's like, Stax is not chill at Bracket 4 is like, I built an incredibly fragile deck, but I wanted to have infinite combos, so it's technically Bracket 4. Please let me win. Please. I've had a bad week. I'm not going to tell you about it, because if I told you about all the things that I thought made my life suffering and would make you sympathize with me, wouldn't actually do that, because I'm 10-ply toilet paper. Please let me win. Yeah, it's fucked up and stupid. On a semi-related note, after your burning insult of non-CEDH Tibna Thras, I've been thinking about a way to play those two at a reasonable power level. So far, the only thing I've come up with was Party. I mean, you have a Cleric and a Wizard in the command zone. What other commander is going to give you that? Don't look at Baracos. Stop. No, don't look at him. Party works. You just have to dig a lot because Tibna Thras is... I get value out of my command zone, but they don't say anything about how you actually have to play the game. If we're talking Kozilek floor, if we're talking Butcher of Truth, that's a solid 3 in my mind. Okay, crit. No. Oh god, we're running out of low. We're kind of running out of low missions. So I just got to kind of do this bullshit to get levels on people. We will run Siren back. Then we will give... I think we give Mecha Zelda a shot, and we give them... Yeah, we give them this crazy fucked up thing. Give them accuracy. Dope. Then is this short? Hell yeah, short battles. Let's get a lot of torches. Let's get some food. We're in the Cove. We don't want bleed, we do want bile, which we have. Real as hell. We oh, did you do another meme? Oh god, Troper's, another meme from Troper has hit the tower. Is this glittering gold, trinkets, and baubles? Alright, 7 out of 10. Good concept, solid, solid. Eris, we've only added one person who is an even older sub-redeem than you. Oh yeah, let me hit that prediction, Gritty. No, Alec, what was your question? What? Oh, okay, okay. Straight line. All right, all right. GD Giant Dwarf, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. I meant Kozilek, the Great Distortion. Draw to 7 on cast, discard to counter. He's hard to build, but if he's built to be cohesive, he's immediately a 4 IMO. I mean, you're just wrong, but that's fine. I think if you think a cohesive Eldrazi deck immediately becomes a 4, that tells me you probably think removal's unfair. If I'm being totally real. Kozilek just seems... Any Eldrazi deck is on some, like, incredibly top-heavy and easy to interrupt bullshit, but if you are not comfortable with, or you don't build your decks to be able to shoot people's resources, yeah, you get fucked up hard. But I don't think that makes the decks a 4. God damn it. Oh my fucking god, Cyberite, what are we doing? Okay, blighted up. On chill with removal, it's mostly the play pattern of control Kozilek that feels past bracket 3. I mean, like... So first and foremost, if this is in your command zone, this is incredibly hard to cast. If this person is casting Kozilek, the Great Distortion, before, like, turn 5, that is 100% an interaction problem. That is 100% like, you should be running something that deals with non-basic lands to hit the Tron lands they are using. You should be blowing up their Thron Dynamo. Like, if they're casting this turn 3 or 4, they have committed their entire hand to mana ramp, and you got to punish them for that. And if they're allowed to stick it, Kozilek alone should not, like, them having 7 cards in hand should not be enough cards for them to totally control the entire table just by discarding spells. Like, I'm sure that you could absolutely get, hey, this game, they got very lucky. They got to resolve their Kozilek early because people used their removal on somebody who popped off sooner. And then they ended up having the exact stuff in hand needed to counter my stuff, and I got fucked. But in aggregate, this is really fucking bad. In aggregate, if you're like, yeah, this is my Kozilek control deck, you are a free fucking win for anybody who's heard of combat damage. All right, good shit, Siren. So that seems very much to me like blind spot in the play pattern of your group, rather than holy shit, this guy is such a fucked up bracket 4 commander. I'm a bit stuck on ideas for my next suite of Dragonlord partners, so rather than force myself to come up with stuff I might not be proud of, I'm open to suggestions on what other custom cards I work on in the meantime. I have no suggestions, Alec Man. Follow your enthusiasm, and if you do not currently have enthusiasm, there is nothing wrong with taking a break. Oh, shit. Minus surprise chance. Say less. I mean, Diver... Kozilek wouldn't even... Kozilek's not even folding to Arabella. Kozilek is folding to just a Braid. You blow up one Thrawn Dynamo, that person is on the floor in the fetal position. Oh, I'm sorry, gang. Hold on. I forgot it was all love right now. We got a B team that we're quite proud of. They're doing well. They're scouting it up. Back-to-back battles. Say less. Get us in the fucking pit. Troper, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. This is your gen pop. This is the people you say my decks fold to. I'm just making sure that this is the champions we've chosen. Troper, if you think you could interrupt... Troper, from a place of love. If you think some of the last couple budget decks you've sent in could do anything in the face of a deck that wanted to play Thrawn Dynamo to play Kozilek, I'm going to send you some VODs to rewatch. I'm going to send you some Goldfishes to rewatch. I think you could, but would you? Or would you be so concerned with the Kozilek player having a good time that you would let them rip your spine out through your asshole? Troper's decks have mad spirit, but like I'm thinking about that theft deck we looked at. I'm thinking about that theft deck we looked at, and hey, go with God. That's all I'm going to say about that. Walk with God. Perhaps my issue with Magic the Gathering is turning my creatures sideways to put them in people's face. Yes, I would very much agree that if somebody has sat down with a Kozilek deck and they are able to resolve Kozilek with a life total that is higher than 20, a mistake has been made.
Give them no quarter.
Or, you know, you could be the deck that doesn't want to compete on the battlefield, but if you want to be the deck that's not competing on the battlefield, you should certainly have the removal to snipe their mana or counterspell the Kozilek, or fight through their discard-based counterspells. But if you're not a deck that can hold up that interaction, yeah, this motherfucker should be at like, okay, I've stuck Kozilek. I'm a control player now. How much blood do I have left? Basically none. What? Okay. Yes, MLP, but we've had fewer opportunities to do Darkest Dungeon streams, and on top of that, we have been getting better at the game, and so there have been fewer deaths. So we've had fewer opportunities to rename people because we've had more and more... That's future A-team behavior right there. That's future A-team behavior. Yeah, Agu, there are definitely way too many people whose version of threat assessment is like, I'm going to deal with you after you become a problem, rather than I anticipate that you will be a problem in 4 turns, so I'm going to hit you now while I can.
The abyss returns even the boldest gaze.
Jesus God. Groinclus, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Oh, Myth, I'm very hyped for the immaculate jank.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
But that's the crux of the issue I have with Kozilek, though. What I meant is that if by cohesive we mean consistent, Kozilek can quickly become an issue. Yeah, most Kozileks are shit, but I would also call them not cohesive. But if your Kozilek deck consistently does the Kozilek thing, it's really hard to deal with. I legitimately do not think that's true, or I think we have a big difficulty, or I think we have a big difference in what we call really hard to deal with. Like, I think if they are consistently resolving Kozilek in the first 5 turns of the game with a life total above 20, that's really hard to deal with. But that is a massive threat assessment issue from everybody else at the table. That's just what it is. Because if we remove the context, if we remove the specific context of who the commander is from this, it becomes, if I allow a deck to ramp unopposed for 4 turns, they can resolve a game-winning, or not even ramp. If I allow a deck to set up for 4 turns, they can resolve a game-winning threat, is very normal for bracket 3. It's not normal for that to be like turn 5, I win on the spot. But like I get to laugh maniacally and rub my hands together for 4 to 5 turns, and then I get to win. Very bracket 3. There's some like pie in the sky stuff that can like make it happen. Oh, it'll go off like turn 2, and that's where we can start talking about bracket 4. But that's not a Kozilek thing. That's a I can make 10 mana turn 2 thing. Like if their Kozilek deck is floating 10 mana turn 3, that's bracket 4 behavior from the deck's mana production, not from whoever's in the command zone. And even then, even if you're floating that incredible amount of mana that early, god damn it, Siren. Even if you float that much mana that early, it should be very interactable because you're probably relying on some type of untapper and some type of big rock like Mana Vault. And if anybody stepped in to interact with either the untapper or the Mana Vault, the plan would fall apart instantly, which is also very fair. I don't really need to heal yet. Who can I? I'm going to hit the guy that our archer can't get. Reformulating. I think Kozilek is either weak to interaction and bracket 3 acceptable, but I would call it not cohesive because that's inconsistent. I feel the bare minimum for Kozilek to work is close to optimized, which is bracket 4. I think you're mistakenly conflating how consistent the deck is in a vacuum with how consistent the deck is in the face of interaction. If you can make a Kozilek deck that is internally cohesive and consistent and is vulnerable to interaction. And I would even argue that the most optimized Kozilek decks are very vulnerable to interaction. Every Eldrazi deck I have ever seen is incredibly vulnerable to targeted interaction on their mana rocks. And so we're really just like, it's kind of this circular argument of, well, if you build Kozilek good, it's good, and if you build Kozilek bad, I don't think that counts as building Kozilek. Which is kind of those goalposts can move forever and ever and ever. But it's, I mean, really the baseline definition is like, how quickly is this person able to cast Kozilek that you would call the deck cohesive? Like, what turn, on average, is Kozilek being cast for you to be like, this Kozilek deck was put together by a person who was sentient? Holy God, Zelda. This is a oh God, it is a skirmish. I think Kozilek on turn 4 is my goalpost. Later, if they run some of their own interaction to secure themselves, I think that's like, that's in the sweet spot of, yeah, if you let somebody set up for 3 turns and then spend 10 mana, fucked up stuff should be happening. It's kind of like if I looked at, like, to me, I'm not even seeing Kozilek when you talk to me about this. What I'm seeing is, hey man, I think Ella Domri's bracket 4. And I go, what happened? And you go, well, they played an elf turn 1, then they played an elf turn 2, then they played an elf turn 3, and then on turn 4 they resolved Craterhoof and they killed me. That's fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, that is fucked up. Which of the elves did you kill? And you're like, none of them. Yeah, man. That's fucked up. So if we're saying the bar is they have to float 10 colorless mana by turn 4 consistently, they have to be spending like all of their deck's power budget on mana generation to float 10 mana consistently. And if you just fucking hollow purple whatever their chosen form of mana production is, like, there are going to be some games where they just get the god hand and you lose because it's like, I had all 3 Tron lands in my opening hand, and I also had Mana Vault, and I also had like a colorless counterspell. Now, what I am sympathetic to, yes, Kozilek is incredibly feast or famine, as you've pointed out, and when he's feasting, it feels unfair and stupid. However, not every commander is meant for the same type of play experience. Kozilek is a very feast or famine play experience, and if you're playing into them, you have to make those motherfuckers starve, and they don't get to do anything. There is no way to have a Kozilek deck that kind of goes off. Kozilek decks are gambling addicts who are going for broke, and they either hit it big or they fuck up and lose their life savings. Those are the only two options. Zadford, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Mythological's question. Would you go, if my high bracket 2, low bracket 3 deck, don't do that. You're in one of the brackets. Played Mox Jasper in my Is It Dragons deck? No, that's the most normal fucking behavior ever. Didn't Mauld play against Kozilek against Joe Johnson? He may have used a different Eldrazi. Joe used a different Eldrazi, and I would call that like... I think Joe would have called it bracket 4, and that deck would have folded instantly to a Braid. It was feast or famine. It was also tremendously fair. Joe Johnson, I think, was on Juladoc, the double Cascade Eldrazi commander, and the entire deck was like, I'm gonna throw a bunch of mana on the table. If you don't interact with my mana, I'm gonna play a game-ending threat every turn. If you do interact with my mana, I'm fucked. That's fair. It leads to a pretty bad time if you don't interact with their mana, but it is very fair. And I think would be totally appropriate even in bracket 3. Some people just don't like the escalation curve of that deck, but it doesn't make it instantly a higher bracket in terms of power. Dog Sauce, you're so right. I would also put a Mesmeric Orb in this deck. Thank you. And Starry-Eyed, thank you for the 2 months in a row at Tier 1, my friend. Win good, I've got money on this. Thank you, Starry. Welcome back to the dog home. Okay, you're gonna die. You're all gonna die except you. Hawk Twa, Cyberite, thank you.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
I really want to get to Sloth again so they can heal the team.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Good night, Noonies. Thank you for coming to the stream. Thank God. Thank God we ducked a fucking... the battle there.
The way is clear. The path is clear.
We've had to fight another fucking trap. Okay. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm actually... No, I'm not going to Iron Swan. Zelder's got the idiots in the back. Zelder, put it on him. God fucking God. Sorry, let me just... Nope. Still not fuck up a clock, okay? Still not nap time by my count, Zelder. What the fuck? Cyberite Huktwa, thank you. Thank you. Spit on that thing. Spit on that thing, Cyberite. I appreciate you. Very solid. Very solid. Troper, yeah, for sure you can go home. Unspoken Fox, we do accept Oathbreaker decks, but now the rule is your Oathbreaker deck has to be illegal. There was one Oathbreaker deck we reviewed where we found out they had house ruled that you could cast your signature spell without having your commander planeswalker out, and it was infinitely funnier than every other Oathbreaker deck we had looked at, so now that has to be what it is. It has to be a cheater Oathbreaker deck. Zen, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. MLP, it was Demonic Tutor, and they said that their pod's meta was, like, the best deck in their pod was Elspeth and Orum's Chant. It was Orum's Chant meta.
Well struck. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Okay, good. No, Zoria, not house rule. House rule is what I'm calling it. They were like, oh, that's just how my pod thought it was played, and no, we never corrected each other.
Another mariner, another misfortune.
Mauled, how far are you in the Stormlight Archives? Chaotic Evil, I'm totally caught up. I've read all of the books, and I'm eagerly awaiting the 5 years until we get book 6. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay. Oh, it's fuck, I probably did need anti-venom for that one.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Yeah, Myth. Their entire like store thought that's how you played Oathbreaker. Can we stop with this buffing shit, man? Oh, what? Okay. What? Are we surprised? What the fuck is happening? My fucking god, dude. Why are all my Hellions just giving up? Thank you, Sloth. Thank you, Sloth, for being a real team player. Zelda, kill that man.
Decimated.
Okay, he'll die to poison now, thank God. Is Brando Sando related to Dio Brando at all? No, God willing. Thank you, Sloth. I do think if Brandon Sanderson ever published a book where the cover art was in JoJo art style, I would probably skip that book. No hate, it's all love. I would not spend my money on that book.
This expedition at least promises success. At last, wholesome marine life can flourish.
Would you find it later at the library? Only if it was one of those like hardcovers where the art was a removable cover and I could just get the book with no art. Then I would get it. But the JoJo art style and the One Piece art style make me physically uncomfortable. I understand that they are very, very high quality creative works. I get angry when I look at them.
Risk and reward. A siren's call to
Troper's on a fucking bender. Dog, you went on a vision quest? Oh. Troper, you better be setting up a CD's nuts joke. You better be setting up a CD's nuts joke right now. Does anybody fucking... We have... Alright, Duke and Scamp also have a disease. Oh, it's just Ennui, which isn't that bad. Titty's gotta relax. Cyberite's gotta relax. Not Riffle dupes. Get out of there. Would you prefer Junji Ito art style? I've read one story of Junji Ito's. I disliked it, but it was not the same, like the like uncanny valley, I have to kill this thing reaction you have to when you see something creepy. Like if you saw like a bug walking the wrong way and you're like, I have to fucking smash that. That is how I react to JoJo art style and to One Piece art style. Junji Ito, I was just like, I'm not a huge fan of this. I'm ambivalent. Mauled looking like a tall glass of water today, and to be frank, I'm quite parched. It's a good line. It's a good line, Oliver. Alec Man, thank you for gifting 2 tier 1 Twitch subs, which I'm presuming is for another custom card review. We have more redeems from Whitebread anyway. Let me pull those up. We get new Nephilim, basically, fungus, insect, zombie, everything but blue. All creatures attack every combat. On ETB, Jesus Christ. I'm going to start charging for these redeems by the word. I swear to God. If I have to pull out a magnifying glass to read one more card, double cost. But it's all love. Let me put the love glasses on. Put a spree counter on a creature they control. Spore counter. Creatures with spore counters have first strike. Whenever a non-token creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature with a spore counter, put a spore counter on it so spores are spreading. Whenever a creature with a spore counter on it dies, exile that card from its owner's graveyard. You create a token copy of it, except it's a fungus zombie. Too good. Way too good. This to me reads like I steal everyone's boards forever. Yeah, way too fucking good. I love stealing. I love taking things. Incredibly strong. Might legitimately be a contender for bracket. This would be the type of commander. This would be the type of shit that would make you go, okay, this is a bracket 4 deck instantly. Because it basically bans anyone having creatures. Everything has to attack all the time. Your best creature for each player you just get to take because you cast this thing. If they have multiple good creatures, you just have to flicker it. Yeah, way too good. I mean, dies from combat specifically is a handbrake that is completely meaningless when we have all creatures attack every combat. You could de-escalate it by making them... You could do the thing that some theft commanders also do, which is they become 1/1s. Like you get a 1/1 version of that card. That would de-escalate it a bit. I think the thing you're trying to do is despicable and should be stopped. But if you wanted to de-escalate it rather than go to therapy, make them 1/1s. Although the correct answer is like cut off the text box. All right, and then we have Helios's Redeem, which is werewolf support. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Wish me luck, boss. I'm headed into Gen Pop at a game store I've never been to tonight. Alone, unafraid. DMC, Walk with the power of your Lord Goon beside you, and I hope you brought like 5 different decks, dog. Okay. 4 mana Jund. Other wolves and werewolves you control have Devour 1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if 2 or more creatures you control died, it becomes Night. Transform any number of werewolves you control. 6/5. Wolves and werewolves have Trample. Whenever you deal combat damage to an opponent, reanimate. I think what's tough about this is it's so good, it immediately incentivizes not giving a fuck about wolves. I think there's some cool wolf interactions you could do with the commander, and also like, hey, Tovolar swings, so I reanimate Valgavoth. It's not one reanimation. It's not one reanimation a turn. It's up to 3. It is between 1 and 3 reanimations per turn. And I'm not saying that it's broken. I'm saying that I think it fails. Changing it to 1. I don't think that solves... Like, I think what would solve this is returning target wolf or werewolf. Because then that is a werewolf commander. But this is not, this is barely werewolf support. This is 99% Valgavoth support. So like wolves dealing the damage is fine. Yeah, you could do human, wolf, or werewolf. And then you probably have Jund werewolf carousel. Danny, we're probably going to end the stream after this next custom card review, so I would save it. Last, we have Elikman's custom card, Diana the Tarnished. Based on a D&D character. 5 mana Mardu card. 2/4 double strike menace, pay 5 life, you generate her, pay 5 life, attach equipment to Diana. Whenever Diana attacks, you may return up to 1 target artifact card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield. Dog, every time the custom card is based on a D&D character, Dungeons and Dragons is a power fantasy game that does not make it balanced for Magic. I regenerate Diana twice. And I get Portal to Phyrexia. Like what? I don't think this is a color pie break. Red has a ton of artifact recursion. Black has a ton of benefit for life loss. It's not, yeah, it's definitely not outside of, I think it is a Mardu ability we have not seen before. I do not think it is outside the realm of believability for Mardu. But like, this literally just says, swing with Diana, get back, Portal to Phyrexia. It sounds like it wants to be Voltron. So you would have to make this say... You would have to make this say equipment for it to even have a prayer. Does regenerate not work how I think it does? Probably not, but maybe I am imagining it wrong. So let's relook up how regenerate works. So the next time the permanent would be destroyed this turn, it isn't. Instead, tap it, remove all damage from it, and remove it from combat. So if something has already, like, something doesn't have to be destroying it to make it regenerate. And even then, yeah, like you can very easily, yeah, you can just pay this twice. However, you can pay this however many times you want. You can just hit the regeneration gritty, recur whatever fucked up artifact you like, and then the whole deck is just mesmeric orb and wheels and like rummaging and looting, and you dump something fucking huge into your graveyard and then you bring it back and then you starve the game out. Regenerate doesn't get through Stax, but that's also like totally unimportant to why the card's fucked up. Is this any more broken than the red-black Rowan? Infinitely, yes. Infinitely. If big thing in graveyard, me get big thing back, yes, that's better than red-black Rowan. If you took away, like, the situation in which this would be as strong as red-black Rowan is if red-black Rowan let you pay 5 life to regenerate it. If Rowan also said, pay any amount of life you want every turn, hit the gritty, then yeah, Rowan would be broken as fuck. I thought you needed to be under an effect that would destroy her to regenerate her. Yeah, that effect I do not think exists, and I think if you tried to template it, you would end up with like a second card just for the text box of that one piece of the ability. I mean, Agumame, it's not even winning the game, but what you break in half with this, the floor is, or the floor of fuck shit you get to do is I recur Portal to Phyrexia. Immediately. Is I resolve Diana. As soon as I get to swing her, I pay 10 life. Like, it really says, effectively what this card says is once per turn, you may cast an artifact spell from your graveyard by paying life instead of mana. Which is fucked up crazy style. Zadfert kind of has it. If Diana would be destroyed, instead you lose 5 life and Diana becomes tapped. That could work. Then the 10 life thing requires you to have an equipment to get to the 10 life payoff, and you're capped permanently at 10. So that is better. If we scrapped the pay 5 to regenerate, is if she would, and I think you have to word it, if Diana would die. No, it has to be destroyed. Yeah, if blank would be destroyed, instead regenerate her and you lose 5 life. That works. I sign off on that. That's going to be the end of today's stream. Andronicus, we will do your card a different day, but we're already 40 minutes past when this stream is supposed to end. So we're going to find somebody to raid, and that is going to be our good friend Beard Princess, who is doing Hole Inspector. Please hit them with the Indestructible Justin raid. I'm going to do some other work. And then if you're a member of the Patreon Discord, we are going to be doing Patron League nights at 6 p.m. Everybody, thank you for coming by to our office meeting today. I appreciate your support. Anybody who's watching, sharing, liking any of my bullshit, thank all of you. I will be live again tomorrow for the free roast stream. I hope to see you all there. And please remember to stay toxic. YouTube, that's it for us, but I will see you tomorrow.